Penis.
Abusiveness of GoFundMe. GoFundMe pages are directly for medical purposes, not for your freaking chicken addiction. I could not believe that people are actually giving him money, and he is taking it. He's taking this money, and he's abusing it. Yes, for chickens, for his addiction of chickens, for his,
Have we all gone quiet in case we accidentally broadcast something that we shouldn't be?
Chicken breast or his chicken
Penis.
wings.
We're all quiet because we're playing that video.
While he's talking. Yes. So I want... Yes, he is. You betcha, he is. So, yeah, he was on Hannity. Yeah, he can take that too. And shove it up where there ain't no sunlight. But I just want you all to be aware that right now in his account, it's 110. In just the last 48 hours, people have given him $110. Thanks for stealing money, Terrence Williams, from people who actually need money. Hopefully that sits real good in your heart. Because you're a piece of shit.
Girl, you need to go to bed. Girl, bye. Talking about GoFundMe is just for medical purposes. Girl, GoFundMe can be for anything. Girl, ISIS got a GoFundMe. And I was just doing it as a joke. All I asked for was $1. I was just playing. But you can't be mad because people want to give me money for chicken. Girl, go to bed. Matter of fact, I'm going to donate some chicken. You want some? You can have some chicken. Quit tripping.
Quit tripping! I had to start it with that video. Very good.
Alright.
I hope it came through alright.
I love that video, and I love that guy. For the sheer fact of this is becoming a thing.
Yeah.
When somebody acts that way, control them right back and ask, y'all need to calm the fuck down. It was some fucking fried chicken.
Yeah.
I love that someone will give 100. Yep. I love that people will give a bloke $110. Like, let me go out and buy some chicken.
It was a joke, and it's like, you know what? I'll give him $5, and he only got like 90 something dollars.
It was in 1970, so she's inflating the figures. Then
I think it was. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, it was a joke.
Oh yeah, no.
It was for laughs, and she's freaking out over chicken. Like, you're always supposed to use GoFundMe for medical purposes. Like, when was that?
Where do you get that idea?
I don't know. She's an idiot. Screaming at a black dude for getting she's a well-off white woman screaming at a black man.
Let me finish that thought that you didn't say there. Ain't nobody gonna get between a black man and his chicken.
Okay, I did it. No, seriously, this is essentially a rich white woman screaming at a black man for asking for some cash to get some fried chicken.
Is she definitely rich? She got like some kind of audience? I don't know.
She's vegan. That's all.
It says it all, really. Yeah.
Yes. If you're a vegan, you are not.
That's why she thinks that you need GoFundMe for medical purposes. It's like all her friends is like, I need supplements to stay alive because of my retarded diet choices.
Oh, look at all the vegans are going to be after us. Oh shit! Controversial topic.
I would be scared. I would be scared if they actually had the protein to out.
We've got the stamina to run. Yeah. We'll have a protein bar. We'll be good.
Don't you know that if for every pound of meat you eat, 2 pounds stays in your colon? Good. Well, I paid for it.
Keep it in there. You have
that's that protein that you don't have.
Your colon's not working. You have a semicolon.
Wow.
A semicolon.
Nerd joke.
That's me. Resident Englishman.
Oh,
I'm a dad now. I'm allowed to make jokes like this.
Yes. The dad joke section of his brain has enlarged.
That's it. Yep.
And he needs to get that practice in.
It's been fostered by meat as well.
He's got 5 years. Get the practice in and get his dad joke repertoire down pat, and then it solidifies and doesn't change.
Oh, I've been practicing for much longer. I've been practicing for
But you've only got 5 more years, and then it solidifies, and you're not allowed to add any more to the repertoire.
Start losing brain cells by the billion.
So we're gonna get that patented yarn segue.
We're gonna get our usual introduction soon by the Meerkat Monarch as soon as he's back. We just shit until then.
Alright.
Oh, should I do the introduction? So you can just
you have to do the introduction because your impression of Jan is better than mine.
I'll do the Jan impression, shall I?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Unsolicited Opinions podcast. My name is Meerkat Monarch, or J.H. Lillevik. Buy my book, by the way. Is Mark the Mark Boy? That's on Amazon. Take a look in the description. You want to buy my book?
You're not allowed to talk shit. You edited it.
Yeah, I edited it. Why do you think I'm plugging as hard as he?
He wants more editing jobs. Come on.
Oh, God.
With me, as always, is my co-host and buddy, Artivous Ira, and, of course, our overlord, Dr. Evil, and, of course, the most exquisite English gentleman, that's Deefry. He's That's me.
I don't think anybody ever called you an exquisite gentleman.
No. It's on my bucket list to get called an exquisite gentleman.
I promise if you die of cancer, I'll come and say that to you.
I'm pretty sure Plippy might have at one point, but that was only after he drugged your drink.
It's a trigger point for British people. Once they get called an exquisite gentleman, they go, "I'm free," and fade off into the sunlight.
They sprout wings and fly off to go back to because they
Is it like so you're saying it's like Morgan Freeman and his freckles?
No, it's like Hook. Whenever someone says I don't believe in Englishmen, one dies, and you have to massage their imperialist ego. And you just hear Plippy just fade off in the distance now.
Oh no! So
we should get on the topic.
It's the start of the school year.
Yeah, we should actually get on topic.
Start of the school year, guys. You gotta begin it like a hero. Just that picture up there. You gotta start the school year
Evil just
like
wants
a
to
hero.
post memes.
Well,
I forgot you put that in. Yeah,
that is hilarious that someone done that, and then someone else flipped out over it instead of just going, "Huh, that's funny," and moving on with their life.
Yeah, just are school shooters really that big a thing? Like a sensitive topic in America, or is
it's the
white people
lose. The anti-gun people use it as an argument to scream at anybody who's pro-gun over it, but it's always obvious with any school shooting I've ever come across or researched. These people either had severe psychological problems that nobody ever dealt with, or a school system that was allowing them to be berated and abused by students at the school and didn't do it.
Yeah. But, they also played violent video games, so let's not forget.
Them violent video games.
No, you're forgetting that they had overplayed their hand on that, so at that point it was music, so it was like Marilyn Manson and
Oh, that was it, yeah, and was it Judas Priest got accused of causing a suicide?
Yeah.
Which I'm a D&D player, so I know where that shit's coming from. Granted, I wasn't playing.
It was the witch hunt at the time for Columbine was the music.
Yeah, but that's the thing. A lot of these fandoms that they end up targeting seems to often have a sort of an element of escapism, So kids who are bullied and ostracized in the real world do tend to gravitate towards them. They just also happen to be the ones who will occasionally snap.
And now Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart's just cashing in, man. There's a market for it. Stop tripping. No, that picture was basically some idiot put all the back to school sale stuff up, and they put it over the guns too. And
I imagine,
and it's just a funny picture.
Yeah. I imagine, having worked in a supermarket, I know for a fact that the manager has gone to some kid that they're waiting to like screw up on something so they can fire their ass. They just like put these over all the promotional displays, and then waits to see whether he actually uses common sense or not. So yeah, those look like some pretty heavy gear.
But this is Walmart, so that's like half the staff.
Those are hunting rifles, right? I'm guessing it's not the ones you can just like you can't conceal that with a concealed carry permit.
Yo, you can't. It's kind of hard to conceal a shotgun.
There you go. It's disguised as a solo cup.
Concealing a shotgun.
You put it on a pant leg, maybe.
You're gonna need a couple of sticks of butter at least. Just saying.
Oh God, no.
This is my rifle. This is my gun.
They weren't supposed to combine fighting and fighting.
That was imagery nobody ever needed.
Well, we are evil.
Do you know? Yeah.
Full
do you know?
Metal asshole.
You know, someone's gonna make that now. It's gonna be a thing.
I don't know why. I was reminded that you ever played the game Destroy All Humans?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in the first one, you can pick up one of the like the psychic agents, and the favorite line of that is while they're floating in the air, you can just hear him say, "There's nothing you can do to me that the Chinese haven't already done." Bit of a segue, but do you know what freaks me out?
That game could not come out now.
Oh no. Well, the fact that fucking McCarthyism was a distant memory at the time of the first game, so having the guy, like all the guys run away going, midget commie! That was funny.
American McGee recently said the things they did in Alice and Grimm, they could possibly do now. Like, one of the things in Grimm, that completely innocent thing, where he takes a piss to work out his range finding so he knows how far he can jump. Definitely no way that would be allowed now.
Yeah, imagine, like, Conker's Bad Fur Day coming out now.
Oh, God.
Oh, dude.
You convince, like, the bee's wife, who's a giant sunflower with massive tits, to, like, expose her breasts so you can jump on them as a platform to the next level. Like, no chance these days.
And I said, I'm not your sweetheart, I am your client. So I was
I honestly think people will start pushing the boundaries in about 5 years or so.
Oh, God.
Because that's the way of things.
Giving Ashley Judd a fucking serve, he's eating watermelon.
The thing is,
is that what he just does now? He just trolls people on Twitter by eating racially motivated food?
Yeah. Terrence Williams.
Yes, he's calling it Ashley Judd. He's like, she's complaining because the bloke called her sweetheart. I'm not your sweetheart, I'm your client. And he's giving her...
I officially love this guy. Hold up, let me post the link of this.
Oh my God. What's next? They're going to be eating barbecue potato chips while watching like some sort
No.
rack off.
No. It's better.
Linky link.
Need to go to bed.
Nice.
Matter of fact, you need to go eat a Lunchable.
Oh my God. Are you going to play it?
I'm going to play it on stream.
And you better be glad
this is straight up plagiarism.
Hey, sweetheart. And I said,
no, because shout out to Terrence Williams and how awesome he is.
And then when I
go follow him on Twitter.
Said, hey, nice dress.
He's a comedian.
I didn't hear him saying anything about the attire of any of the
He's
other
definitely a
folks
comedian.
in the entire line.
Yeah. That's literally like his in his description. He's a comedian.
By the time, my skin is burning, my feet are burning so hard to continue to set these boundaries when someone continues to push. And then for good measure,
he has a whole series of these videos. That's awesome.
Have a good day, sweetheart.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to spend a little while later on watching them.
You need to go to bed. Girl, it is called a compliment. I know you usually don't get one, but it's pretty normal. You really need to go to bed. Matter of fact, you need to go eat a Lunchable and then go to bed. And you better be glad you got a compliment with that big old hocus pocus hat you got on. Oh no. You so overrated. I mean, oh my. Oh Lord. Help me, Jesus, take the wheel. I don't want to come back to earth.
It is pretty funny.
That's oh Lord.
Oh yeah, he definitely put,
he did play
pumping it up, going a little exaggerating it for effect, but it is good.
Nice, yeah. You know, compare. Fuck, man. I need to watch some
hats.
Yeah.
But he has a whole line of these.
Yeah, but that's the last that was, yeah.
And that leads us into the Ashley Judd thing, where Ashley Judd basically freaked out because somebody called her sweetheart.
Yeah, well, this is the I am a nasty woman Ashley Judd, isn't it? Same bitch. Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing about this. All she's doing is being a rich, coddled cunt, shitting on a poor person that makes minimum wage.
Who's been told by his manager to call everyone fucking sweetheart.
Or something like that.
He's been told to be super nice to everyone at all times, and he's like, oh, well, I like it when people call me sweetheart, so I'll do that too.
I don't actually want to be... Yeah, it's like, I don't actually want to be nice to... Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's good. I don't actually want to be nice to these yuppies, so if I can see that one of them is fucking sensitive enough to, like, respond negatively to being called sweetheart, I'm just gonna keep calling you fucking sweetheart.
It's like that job.
That's probably the highlight of his fucking day.
That job fucking sucks. And those people are underpaid. And they have to deal with bullshit like this constantly because people treat airport staff like absolute shit the majority of the time.
The problem is,
so glad I'm not customer facing anymore. You know?
The airport staff get treated with all the shit because they can't release it out on the security staff, or they won't get on their fucking flight.
There's that, yeah.
Yeah.
So once they're on the flight, all their pent up rage comes out at the staff that are just trying to do their jobs, and didn't make your day shitty.
Thinking about it. Sorry, I know it's a bit of a tangent. Whatever happened to that that push to get CNN taken off of airport lounge TVs? Do you remember that?
No. They've got contracts to do that at airports.
Yeah. But
like CNN pays.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But after they blackmailed that guy, do you remember, like early July, CNN blackmail stuff? A bunch of the you want to say alt-right guys, but alt-right as it used to be, like not just ethno-nationalist.
Anybody who is an extreme left is alt-right at this point.
Well, yeah, there's that. No, I mean like the people on the right wing who think that the mainstream conservatives aren't conserving anything. That kind of conglomerate of the unite the right, kind of new right bollocks. This is the thing from fucking obfuscating alt-right to mean ethno-nationalism. Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
You're over-explaining. Just...
Yeah. I mean, like Cernovich, Prison Planet, all this kind of thing. They were like, let's get a petition together and try and get CNN, try and get people complaining about CNN being broadcast in airport lounges and stuff. That seems to have died a death. And for all...
Yeah, they were never going to do that because of the contracts. Like, they can't take down CNN off the TVs because CNN pays them.
But the argument was the reason that CNN is on airports is because you put Fox on people get angry. You put MSNBC on and people get angry. You put CNN and nobody
that's why
cares.
they have CNN, Fox, and MSNBC up at all times, basically.
Yeah. But CNN being up should have more angry complainants now, don't you think? Like, for all the dirty jackass shit they've done.
People don't... All right.
Do you feel in charge?
Like, do you watch this? Do you watch the stuff that comes on the TVs in the fucking airport? I don't. I put my fucking headphones.
Yeah, there's that.
And
it's the business types who get the hotels that are like in there, or like you show up like 3 hours before.
Not even they
get, like,
do it anymore.
Kind of
nobody watches that stuff. Everybody's on their phone. Everybody's on their tablet or their laptop. They don't give a shit about what's playing in the background. It's background noise.
Do you know what's cool?
It might as well just be a guy making fart noises into a mic for 24 hours straight.
I'll tell you what. Last year, I was going on my honeymoon, and we were setting off on the 23rd, right? So on the 22nd, we're all packed. We go to vote for the EU referendum. Then we go to the airport. We get into the hotel that's like near the airport, and we watch the results come in. We go to bed. We wake up in the morning, see that we voted to leave the EU, and then we sat in this business class lounge eating breakfast because my parents paid for this lounge thing because it was our honeymoon. And we watched the result, like all these business people sitting around going, shit, that wasn't supposed to happen.
You got to watch the salt live.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I saw David Cameron, I almost said James Cameron there. David Cameron stepped down like half an hour before we got on our plane. Like, we were sat in this lounge. I thought, I'm going to have a second bowl of muesli. Fuck it, it's free. And we're just watching the telly, and there's like a bunch of business people just glued to the screen, you know. And it was like, like 15 minutes before, some Conservative MP had come out and say, for the love of God, David, don't step down. We need the Tory party to be as strong as possible. And then, fuck you, I was a Remainer, I'm stepping down. Mr. Cameron, because it was never really about the people, was it?
Yeah.
And then we went to Cuba. And cash, like, you have to change up your money when you get to Cuba. Like, there's no bureau de change for CUCs, controlled currency. So we changed, like, as much as we needed up on, like, the first day. And then the currency took the dip from everyone, like, pulling out and getting shit scared because we voted to leave the EU. So all the other English tourists after us were like, it was like 150 when we got there, and it was like 135 the next day. That's how elastic it was. I realize I've taken us off like a massive tangent here.
Yes, you have.
Speaking
of massive tangents.
The famous jam segues.
Speaking of massive tangents, Google's memo that got disputed through their company seems to have caused a large, mass amount of catastrophe within the company. All right, I can't do this shit.
You just
anymore.
can't do jazz.
I can't do it.
So the Google manifesto.
No, it was neither a manifesto, nor was it a memo. It was an open board for Google employees to comment on, like a forum, an internal forum where they could comment and make, criticisms and
cited with sources. There was nothing in there that was anti-diversity. In fact, the memo was pro-diversity. Changing about how they go about diversifying the company.
But I think what's interesting is that he's saying that the reason that this that he released it in the first place. I know some people are saying that he put it out like a month ago, but it only really got traction when the VP of Diversity and Integrity said, "Don't read it," kind of thing. That it actually took off and all this shit happened. But he was saying that because he thought it would stoke the fires and get people commenting on the secret and illegal meetings and actions being taken.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm pouring my drink over.
Yeah, yeah.
We can hear
meetings as far as that's why I thought I'd move it like maybe more than 5 centimeters away from my microphone.
It's too late now.
Yeah.
As long as everyone knows you're pouring a drink. And
I'm not just taking a piss
issues.
with like a wireless microphone. Yeah. That Google is conducting meetings on the down low about their quote unquote diversity that is causing uniformity of thought through discriminatory hiring practices.
They don't know what to do right now. Google is fucked either way. Because all right, you have this guy, he releases this memo, basically taking shots at your policies. And he does it in like the most respectful way humanly possible. All right? He dots his T's. I mean, he dots his I's, he crosses his T's. There's nothing about that memo in any way that is offensive, and anything that you disagree with, that he has sources there to cite to have a conversation about it. And they have to get rid of this guy, and they know it's going to fuck them. They knew they knew from the very beginning that they were going to have to get rid of this guy, or they were going to have to ignore this guy and have to deal with the onslaught of people that want him gone.
That's the thing. So it seems to me that
and now we're seeing something quite familiar. I hate to be an interrupting shitlord there, but we're seeing shit like this now.
Yeah.
That's
a Google employee as well, isn't it?
Yeah, very familiar, isn't it? And look at who's tagged in that. Crash Override Network.
Because she recommended that earlier on. So
yeah.
Speak to people who have been harassed, and then recommending a group.
And we know the only thing that website has done is refresh its counter for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is very telling about the whole situation, when you sit back and look at it, all he did was question policy and cite science.
And then they lied about it.
The other side were making literal death threats at this man, calling for violence, calling for his death, saying they were going to find him and beat the hell out of him. None of these employees were reprimanded. None of these employees, as far as I know, have been fired, because they would make a gigantic stink about it. They would make sure everybody know that they got fired from Google for standing up to this guy.
Was she actually an employee, the one that said,
yes, yes,
I will hunt him down and beat the shit out of him?
Yes, actual employee.
That was Jesus.
And you can make the argument all you want about who's, promoting violence, but you literally have people screaming for this guy's head like an old school witch hunt, versus a guy who said, maybe men and have different preferences, and maybe those preferences are biological. It's not a fair comparison. Somebody took a poll within the company, and 53% of the people who work at Google felt the guy shouldn't have been fired.
It just goes to show how repressed
the people who agreed with them, the people who didn't think this guy was the devil in the company, it was a far larger number than Google anticipated.
Yeah,
because there was that poll that came out about whether or not within the company, whether or not you agree or disagree or slightly, and then they did slightly and whatnot, and there was only a small sliver of people that actually think this guy is wrong on every level, and that whole shtick on he's the super devil now. And you have a lot of people in this company is like, wow, he literally did nothing wrong, and they canned him that easily.
That's it. Yeah, it's
within 48
hours. It seems to
hours.
me like if they were so insistent on keeping a hiring practice within them that was basically illegal. It was not. Well, obviously,
literally, it's illegal.
Yeah. But if they wanted to keep a hiring practice that was based on affirmative action or whatever, that was not hiring the best person for the job. I think from that perspective, if I were in that position, what I would do would call a sort of a debate of everyone and say, okay, you want to argue your point. Let's hear your arguments. Put it in an open forum. Even if it was, this is what I'm saying. Even if the result is decided beforehand, like let him say his piece, then bring out your fucking employees that are going to call all the shots and basically say, our foot's down, it's already decided. I mean, if you bring a suggestion to your company, the worst that can happen is the company says no. For the most part, anyway. What you get, what you shouldn't get is fucking you're fired for thinking this way,
Yeah, they could have
at least do something wrong. He agreed to an interview with Stefan Molyneux.
No.
Sorry, I just saw the comments.
No. Here's the thing about it. I think he planned this whole thing.
Yeah.
I legitimately think he felt, okay, they're having these secret meetings that we're not allowed to talk about diversity.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the whole Red Scare, the Google Red Scare thing was already happening. And as a white guy, he knew his number was probably up.
He's going to get John Holmes.
Yeah, he knew that they're slowly going to push us and kick us out of the company anyway. So I might as well go out
in a blaze of glory.
The way I choose. In a blaze of glory kind of situation.
He's got a guaranteed job at WikiLeaks and Gab. So
yeah, well, yeah, he's probably gonna take the WikiLeaks job over Gab. Gab can't.
I wouldn't thought so. Yeah,
Gab doesn't.
I'm not sure.
But the thing is it was clear that he knew that this reaction was going to happen to some degree. I don't think it was going to be as bad as he thought it was, but I'm pretty sure he knew that they were going to fire him, most likely, just for sharing his opinion, which is why he had talked to his rep about it and set everything in place that he could fight it.
Let's look at it this way. You're a white dude, right? You're working at Google. They start bringing out all this diversity stuff about changing the demographics of the company to be more quote-unquote diverse, which means less of you. You're going to go out, you may as well go out with a bang.
I suppose.
That's probably what he's thinking. Look, they're going to get rid of me sooner or later. So fuck it, I'm going to blow the lid off this thing. I'm on my way out.
And now he's famous. And he's going to win that lawsuit. He's going to win it big.
Well, he saw a lawyer before he even posted that thing. He had all these ducks in a row.
Yes, yeah. I don't think it's quite as selfish a thing as you might think.
No, he probably thought... He probably thought, maybe if I post this, someone who knows what's going on will look at it and go, hey, you know what? Maybe we should give this guy a bit of breathing room. Or what happened is going to happen. And he knew it was one of two results.
When you were saying that, he's piecing out because eventually he'll get fired because more diversity. But I think it might have been a bit more of a Snowden kind of moment that, like,
just let go.
Well,
like
as it, yeah,
laid off or something.
But this is, but it wasn't him who blew the whistle, to be honest. Really,
no, it was them.
Was it? I mean,
it was
exactly.
Them.
Oh no, they were going to find him. There was no way in hell they weren't going to find this man.
Oh yeah, but he was prepared for that as well. But it was him spoken out about it that publicized it. It wasn't dealt quietly. It wasn't dealt with under the table. It was them.
This is the thing. It's like if getting
how dare you have an opinion that doesn't go with the prevailing groupthink?
Yeah, I'm with you, but that's what I'm saying is that if getting caught was part of his plan, then surely leaking it would have been like he would have been the one who leaked it, kind of thing.
Oh no, he works at one of the biggest technological companies in the world. There was no way in hell they weren't going to find him.
Yeah, he definitely planned to be caught. Whether he wanted to be caught or not is up in the air. But he definitely had planned for the eventuality that he would be caught. He went and saw a lawyer beforehand, and the lawyer's gone, if they fire you over what you've written here, you can sue them. And he's gone, oh beauty, then I've got no reason to not post it.
And you can see that in the memo. It's clearly written together to take away any legal.
He's basically going, these are the facts. These are facts.
They're trying to cite. Yeah, they're trying to cite an internal code that you're supposed to sign at Google, as to why they're firing him. But there's nothing in the memo that actually breaks any of that code.
And he didn't release it to the public. Someone else did. So they're in violation of that code.
And honestly, if they hadn't fired him, he would have been physically attacked at work, and then they would have had an even bigger problem to deal with.
Suppose, yeah. I mean, these guys talk a big game, but you never know if like any of these kind of.
No. There would have been some crazy trend.
I mean, there's been a few posts on the chans now as well from supposed employees, and they're talking about, you know, if you're a dude there and you're a straight dude, you're getting sexually harassed by the gays, and I don't know. It's a chan post, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I could see these things happening, maybe not as severe as they're making out.
I wouldn't be surprised if some Wolf on Wall Street bullshit was going on in the company, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Well, it'd be very hard to police it all. Like, you know, walk into an office and there's someone else giving someone else oral sex. Yeah, I could see that sort of shit happening.
What gets me is that, like, a lot of companies are getting away with sort of discriminatory but not illegal, you know, affirmative action and this kind of.
Well, it's under the
if they really wanted, if they really, you know, in the U.S., if they really wanted to go over affirmative action, the majority of like 30% of the tech jobs are taken up by Asians. If they really wanted affirmative action, they would start firing Asians and start hiring black people. But that's not going to happen.
But at what point do you go from just discriminatory affirmative action to outright illegal stuff, to the point that Google publicizes like all of its meetings apart from these ones? Like, what
they
are
don't even record it?
Yeah, exactly. What is it that they're planning that they are having to keep so under wraps, if you know what I mean?
You have to remember that Google is a major corporation that worries about its money and worries about its reach.
Yeah.
And they have to walk a very fine line between keeping the investors happy who don't give a fuck about any of this social justice bullshit, and the massive amount of employees that they hired that will try and take down the company.
I'll tell you where the Rubicon is.
If they offend them in any way, shape, or form.
I'll tell you where the Rubicon is.
So they have to play this dance.
Up the top, you've got all the suits. Down the bottom, you've got all the engineers and the people that do most of the other sort of legwork, the general day-to-day operation. And in between those two departments, you've got HR. Yeah. HR is full of SJWs. See, and want to hire other SJWs.
We have to stop and tell people that HR to evil is what postmodernism is to Jan. So,
but it's true.
So it's rat time. You forgot to say here's the thing.
No, but
it's true.
Here's the goddamn thing.
It's true though. You can't deny that most HR people are women who have this big diversity thing. That's where it all comes from. It doesn't come from the top.
I like that.
It's all these women that want the diversity, the blue-haired she-twinks.
I'm liking Angela's line of thought is that it's not actually diversity meetings at all. They're trying to take over the world.
No, I know. Now you know why it makes me so goddamn angry. That's my job.
These meetings are nothing but a way to try and settle down the people in their company that are still upset. They fired the guy, and they're still trying to sue the company because they feel discriminated against. These meetings are nothing but to try and calm these people down because they can't tell them to shut up, and they can't,
I can't get rid of them because they'll scream sexism
and get rid of them.
Racism.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll go nuts on the company, and they'll have an even worse problem than they already have with one guy suing them.
I wanted to be honest. Like, if Wait, hold on. I've been tagged in something. Hold on. The thing is, with this kind of like, someone came out and said they're sensitive, and so many people were triggered by that they took the day off. But if we're honest, if a bloke had tried to do that, like it was a memo that hurt my feelings, so I'm taking the day off, he would have been shit canned faster than Damore was.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there was a trans person that.
Well, right, don't make me say it. Fucking cisgender man, then.
Yes, use the language. Indoctrination.
Well,
but don't you think
underground lair?
Oh no, they would have fired him on the spot, especially if he was a white dude. But that's a different situation for them, because they know that white dude isn't going to be able to fight back.
Because he's apparently
like that's the thing. They could fire these people on perfectly legal grounds, and it's still going to fuck up the company because they're spoiled children.
Yep.
There'd be hashtags and movements and GoFundMes and all this other crazy shit. There'd be people fucking marching outside about how Google hates women.
Can we get Angela in the call? Can we get Angela on the podcast? Because she's got she's hot takes in the chat.
Hold on. Does she want in? Because
I don't know.
I'll get a link.
Yeah, get the Discord invite. We should point out that we are like not using Google Hangouts purpose today.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. We've decided that
moving away.
Maybe all of us should just kind of disconnect from Google a little bit. Not a boycott, but
turn up maybe just hangout.
Moving a little bit away.
We want to diversify our technology.
Yes, we want to diversify our technology.
I gotta.
Cool.
I'm gonna talk about and later I'm gonna talk about some non-Google technologies that if one wanted to diversify one's technology and not use Google so much.
Jan's back in the chat, but he's not joining us in the fucking Discord.
Fucking Jan.
He's a good boy. He didn't do nothing.
I love that streamer mode hides the Discord invite link. So...
Yeah, it's very handy. I checked all that stuff beforehand. Don't worry.
Evil's been doing research. And I've been doing research.
Yeah. Keep talking. I'm shit posting in the chat.
No, but this whole concept that they think like they can't get rid of these people now. That's the problem. Because when you let in people like that into your company, they fester. As Evil was talking about,
I wasn't allowed to write a fucking S. Goddamn fucking Google. Fuck you.
Not doing that too often. Please wait just a second. Jan's back.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, Jan, don't watch the podcast when we're done. Don't watch the recording.
Watch it. Do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Do
yeah,
it.
now that I got you here, is it coming through all right on YouTube?
Yeah, well, the formatting isn't perfect, but it looks good.
I sent you a message. If you can widen the Discord chat, it'd look better because it's a bit smushed up.
I think I screwed up the aspect ratio. That's all. I can fix that next time.
Yeah.
We're working out kinks, but we're trying to get rid of. We're trying to diversify. We're trying to diversify.
Say it. Just say it.
No,
you're trying.
No, Jan, we love you. No, we need you, Jan. I wish I could quit you.
Just fucking with you, dude.
No, but this concept that they can't get rid of these people in this company because any attempt to rein in ideologues like this within your company is going to get a gigantic backlash. You have to think about it as like hiring somebody who's a member of the Westboro Baptist Church. Like, You know good and goddamn well if you tell them to stop preaching about gays or evil in the hallway, you're going to have every single one of their fucking family showing up outside the company every single fucking day protesting about how your company is the devil. And it's the same exact fucking thing.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Angel.
Hey!
And
she came in here deep accent today, like, hello!
You're alright, mate? How you doing?
I've just finished eating my dinner.
Oh, that's good timing.
Fried chicken?
I don't think she was here from the start.
If you had cheese in the meal, Angela, you'd rape that cow. That's what echoes.
I refuse to speak in case I might incriminate myself.
You cow rapist!
It was delicious.
Hey.
No, but it's a catch-22 for every major company, especially the Silicon Valley fucking companies, because they know these people are going to cost them millions upon millions, possibly billions with their behavior, because it's reached a point where they're, destroying the gravy train that was Silicon Valley. But if they get rid of them, they'll die even faster. So it's slow death, quick death. Which do you want?
It gets me that they seem to be pandered to a lot, both in sort of the ability to they have media pandered to them and they have jobs handed to them to an extent, when they don't do well for your company and they're not very good consumers. You know what I mean?
Puppies.
Yeah, they're like
as diversity in comics likes to call them. They're purse puppies. They're trophies to wave around and say look how diverse we are and look how progressive as a company we are, without actually having to be progressive, because Google is still in trouble for not paying their women the same wages as apparently as the men in terms of what's internally in the company. So they're still fighting that and that lawsuit while all of this shit goes down. So they're literally getting lawsuits from both directions.
Aye.
But they are very loud. That's the thing.
Yes, the squeaky wheel getting the grease perpetually. Now, I see. But it gets me
they
that,
like to deep fry so much.
Hey.
Maybe they should stop using wagons. Well, they should stop using wagons, That'll just eliminate the problem of squeaky wheels.
They should get back to the series of tubes.
Yeah.
Clean eating, that's some rich white people shit.
But it always gets me that, are we not missing a trick with this consumer stuff? The fact that, web comics that sell T-shirts and merchandise companies pandering to the kind of progressive left thing, is it just because they have a very easily marketable kind of aesthetic and whatnot?
Yes.
Or is it just
easy? It's become so easy to pander to them.
Well, this is
that was the original. See, that was the thing. When it came down to, I think, I keep bringing up the Dove ad that they did, I think early 2000s.
Oh, the Normal Women campaign.
Yeah, the Normal Women campaign that Dove did.
Yeah,
and
real women.
Yeah. Now, here was the thing about this. All right, this was Dove doing all these commercials about how real women and real women's bodies and women are beautiful just the way they are, but they're still selling a beauty product to them, and nobody questioned that, and their sales soared, and all these companies saw dollar signs because they were like, we could fucking pander to these morons even when we're selling them the product that they're supposed to be against. And they'll still buy it because of ideological reasons.
Some people didn't like the
Angela!
We're having our own little conversation on
one of these days people are going to realize that Angela is 10 times more dirty than any of us on this show.
Of course I am. I'm British.
You just don't know.
Hey! I'm the token Brit here. Get out. Give me admin rights so I can kick it.
I mean, we have a German here, a British here, an American, and they're all screaming in my ears. It just reminds me a lot of the Second World War. Yeah,
Discord. That's why they call it Discord.
Yeah, there is a lot of Discord here. We're more diverse than fucking Google is at this rate.
We're way more diverse than Google.
We have a black guy.
And a women.
Look at that black guy.
Look,
it's like EastEnders.
I've already set up a bot specifically to make that algorithm of theirs recognize the word diversity as toxic.
I wouldn't be...
Excellent.
If you could put...
And Shrek shows up.
He's been here for about 10 minutes.
He's been posting in the thing, so like we're waiting for the famous Jan segue to talk about Peter. But in the meantime, there's probably a Chrome extension somewhere.
I'm not hosting this time, so
you know, yeah.
I'll let Evil do the fucking segues.
No. Deefry's been doing a better version of it. Go do it, Deefry.
Aw, behave. I wouldn't be surprised if there is.
He's too scared to do it now.
I wouldn't be surprised if there is now a Chrome extension that swaps the words anti-diversity in news publications to diversity of thought.
No, actually.
To just science.
Go on, what are you saying, Shrek?
Running a Chrome
evolutionary science. Let's not sell it short.
Yeah.
I'm currently running a Chrome plugin that changes every instance of the word diversity with my enormous ass.
Classic, brother. It's a classic. Speaking of enormous asses, let's talk about vegetarians.
No. For all the shit that I fucking get for my segues, that's not okay. Dude, no.
So Peter, the ever controversial tension. What the fuck does that acronym stand for? It's for the ethical treatment of animals, despite the fact that they kill more animals than they save.
Yeah, they kill more animals than anybody.
Has now worked out that you can push any agenda you want by calling sexist. Has now said that eating cheese perpetuates sexism
and rape.
Yes, because you're raping the cows by stopping them from floating.
It's not a new thing.
Come on, it's not.
They have done that before. They have.
It's sexual self-defense. You're only squeezing the titties, and they like it. They consent to it. They walk right up and ask you to do it.
Okay,
if it's not legitimate milking, the cow has processes to shut that whole thing down.
Would you like it if somebody squeezed your udders?
Yes.
I only have the one of them, and it'll be squeezed whenever it wants.
Have you never heard Late Night Evil before? It's quite fascinating.
Well, it's early morning.
I'm not gonna confirm or deny anything. All I'm gonna say is it's gonna take quite a while to get a full pint.
Several sessions.
Is that a dare?
It depends who's
and it'll
trying
be
to milk me.
Creamy.
That can be a subscriber milestone.
Yeah, 10,000 subscribers and you can milk me.
Every time
oh my god, who made that?
I don't know.
Looks
like
familiar.
The white eyes.
It just kind of looks like that chicken blew their minds with amazing sex.
Yeah. Thank you, Angela, for allowing
Steal my viral tweet, thank you.
Yeah.
Did you accuse us of stealing memes?
I do want to point out though, in that cartoon picture that's at the bottom there, that would be a rooster because the chicken doesn't have that crest on their head.
It's a trans chicken.
It's a trap. Someone called Total Biscuit. Get this person beat down
on their faces.
No, but
that explains the look, alright.
Chicken sounds delicious.
Jesus.
Wait,
the thing about
this is what happens when you're not here, Jan.
Yeah, I realize that.
Going on
No, but the thing about this
delicious
campaign, the thing about this campaign is that eggs are one of the most ethical things you can eat if you think about it, because it's unfertilized eggs.
It's abortion. Why are you anti-abortion?
I remember one of my uncles telling me once that if you're eating eggs, you're eating a chicken's period.
It's fried chicken ovulation.
Yeah, it's not wrong.
It is.
You think that's bad? Have you ever had honey?
Essentially.
Honey, yeah.
Yeah, it's bee vomit.
Reminding me that Peter once decided to try and hop on the gaming as education bandwagon by making a spoof of Cooking Mama, where they showed you making, I think it was fried chicken with an egg wash, where you were cracking eggs with chick fetuses and blood and bones coming out, showing that vegetarians.
Play that.
Yeah,
that's actually considered a delicacy.
That's like a GTA mini game.
You have to remember,
basically an ortolan.
The majority of the things
these are the same people that play Can Your Pet?
Yeah. These people create things just to fillet themselves, because that's pretty much all what veganism is in the first place. And
like Iron Snout to be in there.
Yeah. By the way, I should caveat my egg statement a bit, because the factory farming eggs is not ethical. I should really preface that. The free range eggs are far more ethical, and also the ecological ones, or the what the fuck do you call it? Organic. Those are ethical, but it's the whole fucking campaign doesn't make any sense anyway, because it's idiotic.
I'll tell you what, like, you're in a bigger country than me, Jem, so organic makes more sense for you. And I've long been an advocate of conventional farming and ranching, purely because the country is not big enough to go organic.
You know, if you put a bunch of cages in there, and you put a big open paddock, and let the chickens freely go from one to the other, they'll stay in where the cages are, because that's where the food is, and they won't leave.
The thing about Norway is not that the actual farmable land is not that big, because most of our fucking country's goddamn mountains
and ice.
Well, not that much ice, but
that's like people saying Australia's a big country. You can take lots of people in, and I'm like, you do realize 90% of it's desert.
Yeah, just let them thrive.
It's like, it's like asking everybody to have an immigration camp in fucking Sahara. In the fucking Sahara. Why can't you have an immigration camp in the Sahara? That's the same fucking argument. I've actually heard people on the far left during the election campaign in Norway, which has started now. Well, we can take in more people in our country because we got vast areas that are not inhabited. Yes, it's called the mountain range, you fucking retards.
They're uninhabited because it's uninhabitable.
Yes. The thing is that if we could grow our cities a bit, no problem, but we can't expand in the way that we're doing now, which is basically in width. We have to build in height if we're going to expand our cities. And yes, it's the farmable land in Norway is not good enough. It's not big enough. That for a second I thought those were chicken McNuggets or something, but it's puppies.
We should not have been given this power.
We should do this everywhere.
I just have the fucking regret posting chicken fucking memes.
We'll have the regular podcast and then just shit posting in the Discord chat as we go. I think that'll be for an amazing show.
That's a good idea, isn't it?
Jesus Christ. You know cow and chicken? Someone has Rule 34'd cow.
Oh, God! I know that's a thing.
Surprise any of you?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, but the thought of you making me think about that is
enjoying
arousing. Arousing?
No.
The echo was amazing. They're just arousing.
That's gonna be my Jan quote. I'm just gonna quote Jan and be arousing.
You feel like a lot of the time that we shouldn't give Peter the attention that they so clearly want when they make these obviously.
Well, give it to them. It's a joke. It's not like it's cutting into the funding, and it's cutting into the money given to Peter. Peter has been slowly dying a slow death for a while now because they're hypocrites and they do stupid shit. So even the vegans and the vegetarians that were super pro Peter before are just kind of like, y'all are just rich assholes filleting yourself.
Yeah, even now, you're making us sound bad, and we don't want to be associated with you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time
do you realize the tweet that you just posted? It looks like people can't really read the original tweet, which is I have several questions. They just see the fucking picture.
So don't let that flower fool you. She'll be a teenager soon. Why is this an advert for cremation?
I know.
Cremation.
You better throw her in that oven before she gets to be a teenager, because then you'd be sorry.
Yeah.
Hecky thump.
Yeah.
I think
And
every
the
time
thing is,
Peter.
The thing is with Peter, they have kind of two default things, because this isn't the first time they've done the whole, the milk and cheese is rape thing. So, and that is one of their default things, and the other one is it makes you impotent.
Yes, do you remember the ad campaign that got taken off by the ASA?
Between the two.
Yeah, do you remember the one that got banned? The vegetarians have better sex ad campaign.
No,
I don't
run
remember
in
that
the
one.
UK.
I do remember the Christmas one though. Did you see the Christmas one about don't leave milk out for Santa because it makes him impotent?
I don't know.
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Okay.
Impotency is only a problem if you want more kids, and I think Santa is far past his prime.
No, they got an advertising. They got banned by the Advertising Standards Agency here in the UK because their line of reasoning was that vegetarians have better sex. There was no sourced statements or anything. There was no science behind it, basically.
Oh, really? No science?
You don't say.
But the advert they were running with was porn music and a bunch of women in close-ups of their body parts holding vegetables. So there's a woman with a pumpkin in front of her cooch, just sort of grinding on it. But the thing that got it taken down was a woman who was laid across a sofa and was just about shoving a cucumber down her pant.
Eat your greens.
That was what got it pulled, because they were basically saying, the ASA basically said, if you, the implication
this is for
here
real
is that she is going
real,
to,
right?
Yeah,
this is real.
Yeah, this is happening. Let me find it. Vegetarian.
I think that was one of the first things I ever saw on the internet was a woman with a giant leek sticking out of her cooch. It said, "Eat your greens." That's the first thing. One of the first things I ever saw on the internet. I think I was about 16. That was my introduction to the internet, and it's been like that ever since.
That was a perfect introduction.
Yeah, I think this is the one. Yeah, the lass who's got her tits out licking a pumpkin. Oh no, it's a stick of broccoli. Yeah. Jacuzzi.
You have to remember that have to watch what we put in the chat.
I will link you it, but it's 240p, so I don't know how well it's going to work. But it's on YouTube already, or else I wouldn't have been able to find you it. This is the thing. YouTube has, amazingly being a
I'm not clicking that link.
YouTube has looser restrictions than the British advertising standards.
I can already see the thumbnail that's in it. No. She's gonna fuck that pumpkin.
She doesn't, she just licks it. Evil, click the link. Let the people see
it. No, don't. Evil, don't. Pumpkin head.
Happy Halloween, bitch. Have some pumpkin seed. Oh, man. I need the loo. I'll be back in a minute.
No, it's this kind of concept where they're trying to, the shaming people didn't work because nobody gave a shit. They try really, really hard to shame people out of consuming any animal products whatsoever. So now they're trying to do it with sex because that apparently is going to work or something.
Oh wow, pumpkinhead porn. You could probably find pumpkinhead porn if you look hard enough.
Stop recommending porn to people everywhere.
I'm sorry, I can't help it.
But it's this concept that you can alter what people like. People don't give a shit. It's like preaching on a street corner at this point. Just shut the fuck up.
Oh, what was... Did you see that tweet about asking people for what's your best reason to eat bacon? And they were just getting completely destroyed.
Yeah. No. Like there was this one that, like, yeah, there was one that's like, what they were tweeting out was like, what excuse do you have for eating meat, eating these animals? And my response was, I can't eat people.
Yo.
And I got blocked. So Peter thinks I'm a cannibal.
You're a cannibal?
I'm a...
Awesome.
But it's this thing where they think people take them seriously.
Yeah. Are we still talking about Peter or North Korea?
Yeah. Now that's a segue.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, do you think any North Koreans are worried about whether they're eating animal flesh or not?
If they can find it.
I think they're just happy they've got food.
Alright, for people who don't know the rundown of what's going on with North Korea, let me give you a bit of back history. North Korea is a shithole. Okay? To explain why they're a shithole, you have to realize this is a communist country. Sexy Freddy and Jason. Stop posting pics, Deefry!
I did it for fun!
Jesus Christ, Pumpkinhead! Okay. The chat was a mistake.
I'm just giving the people what they want.
When you look at North Korea, it was a communist. I'm trying to talk about North Korea, and you're posting fucking Jesus Christ. Basically North Korea was a communist country that kind of stemmed from China and that whole bullshit and that whole Mao regime thing. And when it did its whole thing, it didn't stop being as hardcore or communist as China used to be. They stayed that way. And their country sucks. Basically, people are slaves. They have internment camps. But they don't make... The only reason that nobody really fucks with North Korea and lets them do their own thing or whatever is because China has kind of always big brothered them. Like, if you fuck with North Korea, you're going to have to deal with China. But that was only so North Korea could get the resources that were in North Korea that North Korea was basically shipping out to them. But those have dwindled, and North Korea has become North Korea has become a bigger problem than China's really willing to deal with in order to get those resources when China can get those resources from other countries now. Mm-hmm. Now, because North Korea is a shithole, you're going to make it impossible to talk seriously about this.
Keep going and don't look at the chat.
So basically, North Korea has no real means to make any real money, and so it's a poverty country that has to make money somehow. So what do? They make a stink every couple of years until they get money from other countries or get free stuff from other countries to get them to stop acting like jackasses.
Give me money or I bomb someplace.
Yeah, basically, and we know it's a fake threat, and we know it's bullshit, but if you fuck with North Korea, you look like a bully because they're fucking pathetic, so they just give stuff out to them, and they shut up for a couple of fucking years. And it's been like this for a while now, and by a while we mean lifetimes. Like, Un's father did it, the former leader did it, this is how their country stays afloat. By being assholes and saying, hey, if you don't help us out or give us stuff, we're going to do stuff. And there's always these fake threats and all this bullshit, and we have a nuclear program. I'm sorry, but North Korea's nuclear program is bullshit. If they fired a missile at any developed country, the shit would get fucking taken out by anti-nuclear technology.
This is why I think it's funny that they're saying that. I thought that, like, North Korea had missiles that could hit the US, that could hit California. And then they said they could hit Alaska, and then Hawaii, and now Guam. It seems to be getting less. What, they're going to threaten Papua New Guinea next? Somehow get in there. That's fucking US territory.
See, well, here's where the controversy starts up, because, all right, basically what happened is Trump basically started talking to people, like, different countries and being like, you're going to have to do something about them. They're kind of assholes. They're threatening to nuke people. You might want to start cutting down on what you're giving them, so they'll kind of rethink acting like assholes to get free stuff, which is what they've been doing for several generations.
Yeah.
And so this made them decide to get desperate with it and say that we can nuke Guam if we want, and don't be cocky, America. We'll go after you. And Trump was just like, I call your bluff. Do it, faggot.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's why we're in this situation where a world leader just has to come out and straight up like, you know what? Fuck it. Try it. See what happens.
Do it, bitch.
I'm not giving in to your threat. Do it, bitch. Come on, faggot, do it. Like, that's basically what he said. And it's obvious as, like, they know they can't fire. They know they can't do anything. Because if they actually fired a nuke at the U.S., China's going to back the fuck away and say, I want no part of this. And everybody else is going to unload on their ass.
Well, yeah, assuming it doesn't get shot out of the sky.
It doesn't matter if it gets shot. It's most definitely going to get the shot the fuck out of the sky. But everybody else would use it as yep, they did it. Fuck them up.
Like,
South Korea's going in. Japan's going in.
Fucking burrito shot first.
It's like, dude, you shouldn't have. It's like, go ahead, shoot first. You're surrounded by people who don't like you, and China just kind of tolerates you. Like, you have nothing.
You just know that it's like a MacGyver nuke as well that they've built out. Are you
saying it's made with paper clips and popsicles?
Yeah.
It's made out of string and twine and duct tape.
People are more worried for South Korea and like China and Japan, the bordering countries, not because of America's retaliation, just because of the likely targets, like the unintentional targets of North Korea's missile, where it accidentally.
South Korea's been looking for a reason since the end of the Korean War, and they know their military might is better than North Korea's because their technology got allowed to advance because South Korea
they're not communists
to the rest of the world and we're communists. And don't have a country full of starving people that would revolt the instant they realize the government doesn't have as much power as they think they have. That's the other thing, that they suppress information so heavily in North Korea that they actually think the leader of North Korea has superpowers and can read their thoughts. The majority of them probably don't think that bullshit and know it's bullshit, but can't say anything because if they say anything, they're fucking dead. They're going to a concentration camp. This is the country that's threatening people, that thinks that they can bully and strong arm other countries.
Just in case you do want to go to North Korea, I just want to post this particular meme because it's true.
Jumpsuits for everyone.
North Korea is best Korea. If you've never been there, you can't dispute it.
And the funny thing about it is, here's where the real controversy comes in. Trump called their bluff and was like, you know what, do it, faggot. And now people are trying to call him the erratic, dangerous one. Like he's a threat to the rest of the world. You have a communistic country that enslaves its people, threatening to nuke up every country around it that doesn't give it free stuff. And Trump saying, these guys are assholes. We shouldn't be giving them stuff. He's the one that's erratic. He's the dangerous one.
It wouldn't be bad, though, but even Obama said to North Korea, North Korea's like, we're gonna build a nuke and we're gonna nuke you, and he's like, yeah, okay, North Korea, whatever you say.
Yeah, he just ignored them. He was like Obama was just like, yeah, we're not really scared of you. We're just gonna try and.
That's the main difference. There's the main difference between the two U.S. presidents. Really, is the sort of the over reliance on soft power and the reluctance to actually show some backbone in the fact that other countries were getting away with, overstepping nuclear lines.
Outright threatening us with a nuke.
Yeah.
They threatened us with a nuclear weapon.
Just ignore them and they'll go away to... We will fuck you up if you do
that. At some point you have to say, listen, we're going to fuck you up if you don't stop doing this. Because I guarantee if they actually fired that nuke, nobody would have a problem with us sending over our own. Russia would be like, fuck it, let me join the party. Like,
of all the things to unite the US and Russia, it's just let's use North Korea to calibrate our
Japan, Russia, China would be like, you know what, fuck it.
Just salt that place.
They would salt the major cities most likely. They would go after the leadership of the country, and then South Korea would invade and take over the rest of the country and basically free the people. They'd be like, "You guys are horrible. Here's some food. We love you." Like it would literally take a week. Because when you talk to people who have escaped North Korea, you're just like, yeah, they live in fucking hell, man. No food. You have you have to watch the TV channel propaganda constantly. Like, it's... If we gave these fuckers iPhones, holy shit. One iPhone would destroy their whole...
Give him an old one. Just give him
give him an old one.
You don't need to tell him about the new one. Just
it would be great for about 10 minutes until the battery ran out.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's planned obsolescence.
Because you know North Korean shit posting would be the shit.
And
no way, it wouldn't be awesome.
And speaking of Apple products, we should bring it back a little bit to the whole Google thing and the propaganda that's going out around Google headquarters at the moment. Have you seen these?
No.
I've seen a few.
So someone is. Yeah, someone is. It's further up the line if you want to scroll up for our viewers. Past all the North Korea memes.
And chicken.
So, someone I don't know if it
was coming
going around adverts with Steve Jobs and Apple's old slogan, "Think Different," with the LGBT
I posted that.
P2S fucking WTF barbecue version of the Apple logo next to the slogan "Think Differently," and then underneath there's Sundar Pichai and Google's logo saying, maybe don't think so differently. Not so much.
Yeah, they're basically getting memed on outside of their office, which I'm not surprised it's going to happen. Because Google's been a monopoly for a while, and people don't like that Google is a monopoly.
Someone pointed out, Apple is not they're not the nega Google. They are not the opposite to Google by a long shot. They're not a free speech, like the opposite of Google.
I would argue that internally the company is probably just as bad. They're just probably a whole lot better at keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, they used to be worse, as far as, open source and...
I'd imagine they're probably worse.
Universal standards.
Hiding it.
Yeah. So, by all means, they are not a good free speech alternative to Google. But it's nice to see just someone rub their face in a fuck up. You know what I mean?
And speaking of Google and YouTube and their fuck ups, are we going to talk about the YouTube silencing policy that's going on now?
What, the YouTube stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, the YouTube gulag is real, bro.
I am. I'm kind of in the camp that says you knew this was an unstable revenue stream with YouTube career, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have a huge amount of sympathy for people who are finding all their demonetized at the moment. I do think it's bullshit. Artivous, Jesus Christ. Your gain has gone up. I don't know whether you stuck your or something.
I'm just going to tell you what many women have probably
to
told
eat your
you in
microphone?
Life. You need to back up a couple of inches.
He's on his smartphone.
Sorry. New equipment, people. Sorry.
Right, no worries. So, and it is bullshit that people are getting demonetized under a system that's supposed to be taking religious and extremist content, somehow seems to be targeting gamers a lot, I've noticed.
Jeez, I'm pretty sure that...
There was a guy that basically had a video that was saying, do you mind if we not politic up all the video games? Yeah, he had his a strike for that.
Oh yeah, the person who was political and all that.
I'm starting to believe that little hint of information somebody was spreading around on the whole about Anita Sarkeesian being
the one in charge of it.
Justice Council possibly in charge of this shit, because it's looking like they're going after anybody who even slightly disagrees with her in some type of way, or is an affront to what she wants to accomplish.
Yeah, but they're starting with the smaller channels first. They're not going after the big guns because they know that would cause a ruckus.
They're going after everybody now, man.
I think
absolutely fucking everybody.
Yeah, that's the problem when they use algorithms a lot of the time that are so badly programmed, and you can never actually speak to a real person when you deal with YouTube. It's all automatic systems, and so all the rules are so unevenly enforced.
Yeah,
it's just complete chaos.
I think what will be a good sort of acid test is like maybe once a week or something, we look and see how easy it is to find an ISIS beheading video on YouTube. Just every now and then, just like, okay, we can do it by searching this term and it will give us this. And anyone who wants to find an ISIS recruitment video or a fucking beheading video, like, they can do this. Like, we'll see in a week whether their algorithm has actually found this, like, this self-same video and taken it down or not. Yeah, and in the meantime, it will have taken down, sort of hundreds of, conservative commentators and, hell, even fucking centrist commentators. It's the same with Twitter. The moderates seem to be getting it worse than the hardline right-wingers.
Oh, yeah, everybody hates moderates.
Yeah,
they demonetized... Yeah, they demonetized all of Luke Rudowski's video.
Who's Luke Rudowski?
Philip DeFranco.
We are Change.
Oh, right.
The independent news show. Well, like 660 demonetizations. So they just wiped all of his most popular videos.
Jesus.
Which is why I'm starting up the vid.me
algorithm my ass.
Yeah, for some reason, like out of the gamers that I watched, one of the most affected I noticed was a lesbian YouTuber called Manga Minx, or just Minx Gamer. It's not Lady Demontis. Hold on. Shit, where's she gone? But it could be that she just kept people informed when shit was going down, as it were. because I have her on Twitter, obviously. So she just tells me like, "Yeah, that video's been demonetized. That video's been demonetized." But it did seem to be just incredibly arbitrary, you know. And do you remember when
they don't care? They've decided
they
that
don't care.
unless you're creating content for kids, or you're a famous person that collates them as a company, they don't give a shit about it.
And if you see
how people are showing the trending
for kids, I mean, unless you're basically a channel that's making toy adverts, because that's all these kids channels are. It's just toy ads.
Yeah.
And they get loads of money from YouTube, and toy companies pay them as well to advertise their toys.
They get it on top,
and they don't mention that they're adverts
toy videos.
They wanted to turn YouTube into regular TV, and they're almost there.
That was it. A lot of like the people who commentate mainly on this. So Mr. Medica, or what is he now? No, he's still Mr. Medica. And
look at the trending.
Dave Cullen. They'll say, you know, they're looking to turn this into YouTube TV as a sanitized version of the thing. You said about the kids stuff. Has
if they really wanted a sanitized version, why didn't they make one specifically for that and brand it differently?
They tried. Restricted mode was supposed to be that.
They tried restricted mode.
Completely separate, everything, you know, looked at by human eyes before it's posted, and it would have worked perfectly fine.
They don't want it done by people. They want AI.
That would mean they'd have to pay people. They don't like to do that.
Oh yeah, billion-dollar company. You don't want to pay a couple of people to do just to go through and make sure everything uploaded was, you know, suitable for children.
So if you look at the trendings for YouTube and what trends and what doesn't, it's a clear agenda of who they want to promote and who they want to fall away. Because this trending list would be full of people that they don't like, or people that they don't want to promote, or people with views that they don't exactly agree with. Like Philip DeFranco's been shitting on this for months, where you know, you'll have a video of Miley Cyrus opening something and it'll have 25,000 views, but it's the 20th trending on YouTube for some reason.
Yeah.
And just it's just stuff like that where it's clear that whatever's trending is whatever they want to trend to try and put forward that viewpoint or put forward that image that they want instead of what's actually trending on YouTube. And so the YouTube is useless. It serves no purpose. Like they're editing, you know, your recommended, so you're not finding the actual content that's like what you're watching now. I've played with it a little bit and gone to the deeper realms of YouTube, and you'll like, okay, here's a video of women getting hit back after being abusive.
World
these
Star.
These videos are all over YouTube like crazy, but you'll see one more of those types of videos under it, and then the rest of it is, well, hitting women is wrong, and this is horrible, and this is...
right. I think that might be tags to some extent, but the same reason that I think we should monitor how easy it is to find ISIS recruitment videos on it, like the related stuff. Did you hear about how pedophile networks are like exploiting the related video thing?
No.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I know it sounds bizarre, but there are like networks. There's a series of videos where it will start off with like innocent-looking kid stuff videos, right? And then the recommended videos for next will always be ones with exactly the same tag, right? So the kid will be sat watching and just like let it autoplay to the next video, and it will get progressively more depraved and kind of showing kids like violent content, and
which is why you shouldn't let YouTube babysit your children.
Oh, absolutely.
You should always babysit your children.
Always be monitoring.
But this is
let Netflix do it. Let Netflix do it instead.
Yeah.
But the level of
actually.
Did you see the Peppa Pig thing? That because people sit their kids in front of like Peppa Pig videos on YouTube, and people were putting doctored videos of Peppa Pig. Like there was one where Peppa Pig goes to the dentist, and somebody had edited it, had doctored it, so that she'd gone to the dentist, and the dentist was drilling her teeth out, and she was screaming. And it got onto YouTube Kids. It got onto YouTube Kids, and like this mother had sat her kid and was letting her YouTube babysit her kid, and yet she's thinking that doesn't sound like Peppa Pig, and yet it looked legit like Peppa Pig, but they'd edited it and animated it to
at least Netflix has a moderated sort of content on their kids setting.
Yeah, so they don't want to actually moderate anything. That's the problem.
No,
that's the problem. The problem you've got, Evil. Problem you got is if you have people actually looking like human people, like looking at videos before they go up, then they've got to be based somewhere, and then you start getting into potentially the law, like where where are this people based? Where are they based? Does the law apply? And don't forget, in certain countries, one of the reasons now why toy companies use YouTube is to get round laws forbidding advertising to kids. I mean, in the UK in particular, we have laws that forbid toy advertising and junk food advertising, particularly during certain hours of the day.
And you know why that law exists?
During kids' TV. So that's how toy companies get round it.
Because people campaigned to the government to have them laws put in because they were too weak to turn around to their kid and say no.
So now parents just plonk the kids in front of YouTube, and now everybody's selling their toys to kids through YouTube.
Yeah, but this is the thing I found, is that for the level of control that we're seeing the backlash of, with this kind of scattergun approach of AI taking down this and that for certain naughty words being said or spoken or put in the freaking subtitles and all this, it's amazing the kind of stuff that is still getting through. You would think that would be the first to fall.
If you want to look at a woman's vagina, just look up how to wax it, and you get plenty of vagina shots. No filter on that. Kids can just look at it. You put it under education.
It sounds like something you've got experience with.
I've seen people on Twitter posting them and going, "Hey, look what I found on YouTube." And I do have a 15-year-old son as well.
Come on, dude.
That's the equivalent of looking in the underwear catalogue instead of buying a porn magazine.
There's actual...
That's like the modern equivalent.
Exposed vaginas. I'm not talking about underpants.
Well, when you search for exposed vaginas, when you search for exposed vaginas, no wonder you find it on the internet.
I kind of want to download this VOD and just have the clip of you. Exposed vaginas!
There's nothing stopping you, bro.
Which reminds me, I need to go back a few podcasts and find Art's thing on why black men love white women. That was a good episode.
If you really want to go through and pick out... You want to pick out all the awesome clips and we can start uploading them to vid.me? That'd be really helpful.
Yeah, and minds.com, yeah. Now, I'll give you the tilde here, Angela, is that I think the crux of Art's argument was white women will suck dick.
No! That is not... How dare you?
Oh, sorry, go. By all means, correct me with a reprisal of your last...
God damn it.
He got you there now.
You want a Cliff Notes? Way less baggage.
There's that, yeah. And they'll suck dick.
No, black women will suck dick. They'll just complain while they're doing it.
Why are we doing it? That is a talent.
Tell him it's
Could be out watching Oprah Ira suck this dick.
That is a decent question. Has Oprah Winfrey ever given head?
Do we want to know the answer?
I don't think that man would have been able to pull her off. If she'd been off the wagon of one of her diets, then
there are rumors of her being gay, so she might have given head.
Ellen DeGeneres comes out walking bow-legged one episode.
Oh God,
no. What happened to you, Oprah?
God damn it!
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Have we got one last topic to take us through till 11? Let me just check the DM group.
We did.
We did. It's all gone out the fucking window.
Yes. Oh, there've been more of those.
So much of it is about. Usher wears "Don't Trump America" shirt during BET Awards performance. Then allegedly pays a girl after infecting her with herpes.
What I want to know is how come no white people won the BET Awards? I think they need more diversity.
Yeah.
Okay. It's becoming a thing where old R&B people are just becoming repugnant motherfuckers.
Sexual degenerates.
And sexual degenerates. We talked about R. Kelly.
Becoming or getting caught?
Well, that's the thing. R. Kelly has always been a creepy motherfucker. It's just people.
But he literally had a harem of teenage girls to fuck at his women disposal.
But you know, if he's supreme leader,
like whatever.
If Kim Jong-un can get away with it, looking like he.
With him, it's at gunpoint. Okay, that's not a fair.
What you said? R. Kelly doesn't like rape 14-year-old girls at gunpoint. Get back in.
He wasn't doing it at gunpoint. He was. Those mothers were giving up those girls like they were offerings to a deity.
Yeah, except his golden blessings.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh man.
And there goes the shark. Deefry just jumped it.
Yeah. But apparently Usher is paying hoes not to be upset about him giving them herpes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much convinced that if you're a famous person, you have like a hodgepodge of venereal diseases at this point.
It seems
There's
like
no way you don't.
Yeah. I mean,
you got come like acid.
Oh, you ejaculate fire.
Have you noticed the celebrity coming out against? Have you noticed the celebrity coming out against Trump seems to be the same kind of thing as being a male feminist ally? Is basically mean some kind of sexual skeleton in the closet. I'm kind of worried what Ashley Judd has in her past.
Are you trying to tell me that people who virtue single are generally worse than anything they're
trying to convince themselves that they're a good person? Picking up for something in the past? Perish the thought!
When this comes out, I've got to balance it out by being a really, really good virtue signaler now, because when it comes out, I need people to stick up for me.
Pretty much.
I think the fact that once it comes out, it'll stick to anything. So
Yeah, that's what Achilles says. Once it comes out, you got to follow through.
I'm lost and I'm terrified to ask what we're talking about at this point.
It's a metaphor.
Things that come out and then stick
Scandal,
to stuff.
Piss, jizz, fucking. I don't know what
We're
kind
so
of piss.
classy. I would just like to point out how classy and intelligent our group of people are on this show every week. We're so
intellectual.
Highbrow
We're
discussion.
so intellectual. Highbrow discussion on semen.
Killed approved.
Well, we got the seal of approval, so then it's okay.
As I stare at chicken vagina.
Yeah, sorry about that. It was a request from the chat.
Chicken vaginas.
Yeah,
that is the picture that will get us banned from YouTube.
Yeah,
deal with the chicken vaginas.
5,000 chicken vaginas.
Chicken vaginas.
Yeah. When
Oh
you
my God,
ask
there's
for
something
chicken
there.
fajitas and so misheard.
The guy's Australian. Is that vaginas? Now I want some vaginas. Vaginas. I'm gone. fucking god.
Chicken vaginas.
I have no idea why this is funny, but it is.
Oh man.
Oh boy. What else have we got?
So what else did we have on that DM group? The woman who urged her boyfriend to kill himself has been sentenced to just 2.5 years.
I'm so glad she got time.
But I'm so disappointed it wasn't more.
She got barely any time. Yeah. This is the thing. I do have the kind of the principle that suicide is always a choice that the deceased has opted into. So it is never purely the fault of the person who, you know, quote unquote, drove them to suicide. It's a long-held belief that I've had. It's, you know,
but when
someone
he gets out of the car and she goes, "Get back in there, you pussy."
Yeah, no, I'd heard about
somebody's or if somebody's at the top of a building contemplating suicide, and then you scream, "Do a flip."
This is what I'm saying. This is what I was saying, is that as well, this kind of controversy with Google is pushing the hardest areas to kind of sound a bit ridiculous. God damn it, Angela. The hardest of libertarians are having a hard time saying that Google is just a private company, and so they should be able to fire someone for their speech. Because that's not protected under the First Amendment, although it is covered under God knows what else, the National Relations Board or whatever it is.
There's certainly
at the same time
laws that have been broken with their diversity.
Yes, yeah.
Secret diversity meetings.
Similarly, I am having trouble saying suicide is always a choice when you see someone like extended campaign trying to force this guy into committing suicide and then him actually committing suicide. You know what I mean? It kind of makes you reevaluate your beliefs and like, am I really being the most moral that I could be by saying that suicide is a choice when someone is being this involved in someone's but yeah, the causal factors.
When you've got clear evidence of them, you know, seeming to influence the person who has killed themselves, you know, there does seem to me to be a degree of culpability there.
Well, the argument I used before,
whether it should be legal culpability is a different argument. I mean, I think it's more than logical to say if somebody is a really shitty person to somebody and then they kill themselves, I think that it's fair that there should be a degree of societal culpability there, that people should say you were shitty to that person and they killed themselves. So it's partly your fault that they're
dead. The argument I've used before is that people have killed themselves for finding themselves unemployed. Does that make the employer culpable? You know what I mean?
The thing is, this wasn't a stranger that was saying this either. This was supposedly the girlfriend. Someone had influence over that person. We're not talking about a random dickhead on the internet and you can just go fuck off. I think that's
absolutely. There's a degree. I mean, because when you talk about spousal abuse, that's kind of relevant here. I mean,
especially now that they're extending the definition of domestic abuse to be psychological and emotional abuse.
Yes, absolutely.
However,
women.
Yeah, however reluctant they seem to be extending that to male victims, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that's interesting that this one is where it's a male victim and a female perpetrator. And they've kind of thrown the book at this woman as much as they can.
Yeah, and that's the point, is that the fact that they include the fact that they included the psychological violence or psychological abuse as well as domestic abuse, that makes it easier to justify treating male victims of domestic abuse, and it doesn't make as much sense when it comes to the violence, apart from there are some that also are victims of physical abuse. But I agree that it is a slippery slope to go down if you're going to start blaming people for suicides. That, for instance, people who get rejected or whatever by love interests or whatever, and then kill themselves. Then it becomes a sort of, okay, where are you going with this? I agree that this girl here was definitely culpable for the death of.
Well, you have the additional intent, I suppose.
Yeah,
the kind of thing. Like if someone's saying straight up, "Kill yourself" over and over again, I think, and it's not
someone
in an
you care
Overwatch
about.
chat room kind of thing. Yeah,
a
position of weakness towards them. That
there's definitely a bit of power play and familiarity with the person that's telling you to do it is definitely something that comes into play in those. If it's a stranger and they say kill yourself, you can just turn around and tell them to fuck off. I mean, there's not much power in the relationship to say that they're culpable of you killing yourself just because, you know. Like Artivous said, if someone standing on the top of a building and you walk past and go, do a flip, are you really responsible for that person doing a flip and killing themselves? I don't think so.
No, because they've already got themselves up to that point.
It depends if you're the purple man or not. If you're the purple man, I would say
really?
Probably culpable.
Probably.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying, if he does the exact thing you're asking him to do, and then you're the purple man, then you're probably guilty.
But what if he does a double flip?
Nah, then you're not the purple man. You just think you're the purple man.
This conversation got really dumb really quickly.
Yeah. There was a sort of related issue that I spotted on Court News UK today. Actually, I've popped it in the Discord now. There is a fraudster, sort of a high-class, non-white female British accountant who fleeced more than £350,000 from a company. Has avoided jail time.
That's a decent amount of money.
The judge decreed that she was not made of the stuff for prison.
Man, if that was a fucking argument people could actually use in a good court system.
Yeah, we ain't got one of those.
So, I guess that heist I was planning, I should go ahead with because I'm definitely not the stuff made for prison.
Yeah, you're not the stuff made for prison.
I don't know. You are a bloke, so you know you could learn.
And presumably you are white.
Yeah.
No, I'm a quadroon. I reject that. I am one.
He's Aboriginal as they come.
I am one colour Spanish.
Spaniards are white.
So dude, in the US,
they will tell you Spaniards are white.
In the US, they're classed as a person of colour.
No, that's Hispanics. This is different.
No, same ethnic group. I don't care. I'm claiming it.
I don't care. I honestly don't give a shit about people.
If Sean can claim to be black, I can claim to be 1/4 person
I'm quoting that shit right now.
What?
Okay, then I get to claim Gypsy.
What, Roma or Irish Gypsy?
Yeah, Romani.
No,
probably Irish Gypsy, since I'm part Norse and we probably kidnapped a couple of you guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. You guys are pretty mixed up in the sort of the Slavic area. Like, you have your purebred Slavs, but the rest of you are just the people you fucking took back with you.
Norse, you mean? What the fuck? Slavs? We use those as slaves.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah, the slaves, yeah. Fuck it, you're all just, yeah. I'm 100% Roman, so I could tell by my nose. Yep. If my nose was any big, I'd be Semitic.
Not diverse enough to be Roman. Romans are all diverse now, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh,
they weren't conquerors or colonialists or anything. They were diverse.
Oh yeah.
Living in harmony with diverse people.
Moorish Americans. Shit. I can't remember what the argument was. There was like a 0.02% of the population that might.
If they keep with this bullshit, you're going to see in 20 years videos of black people colonizing the U.S. and enslaving black people.
Colonizing Africa, yeah. Just the civilizing mission done by black people. Wait, no, we don't want to claim that part of history.
They will.
But never mind that they were part of the. They were part of the slave trade at some point, because who captured the slaves?
Yeah, they were the warlords in Africa selling their own men to the Europeans.
Well, not their own men. Usually, people from
defeated enemies.
Oh yeah,
defeated enemies and so on.
Yes.
Yeah, that was common practice among ancient people in general. They would capture. They would go to war, and if you got captured and you didn't die at war, then you became a slave. That's why in Norse mythology, or Norse culture, it was considered a bad thing not to die in battle if you were on the losing side, because you automatically became a slave.
And you didn't want that. It was better to be dead.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't want to serve another man. You were a free man. You died a free man.
Especially
if you were
considering
free.
what they did to most slaves around the genital area.
Well,
the
Norse. Yeah, well, they gelded some slaves. It happened from time to time that they gelded their trells, basically, because that's a slave. Is a trell. So yeah.
For the most part, we just ransomed our shit back. You know, if we captured someone who was worth it, fucking give us money and we'll give him back.
Yeah, but you're talking about the actual. Yes, that did happen as well. If you were a nobleman, or
you
someone
were
from an important family, you were entitled to ransom. That was true in the Norse society as well, but it didn't apply to people living around a monastery, to put it like that. If you were someone important, unless you'd done something bad, like the former king of England, who put Ragnar Lothbrok in a pit of snakes, and then he got a blood eagle as a response. So, yeah. Very often, if you got captured by the Norse, they would ransom you back if you were from a rich family, because money's more important.
Well, yeah, wars are expensive.
Well, I would just like to point out,
we didn't war. We went on raids.
Breaking news: Antifa's trying to crowdfund a tank.
What?
You gotta put this shit in the Discord. We got like 5 minutes left, and we would this domestic terrorist scum.
Yeah. I'm
just gonna sit and appreciate.
How is that ever gonna be allowed?
It's not.
Let's be honest here. They're gonna get all that money, and they're gonna say, "Oh, they wouldn't let us do the tank," but we're definitely gonna spend all this money on other Antifa stuff for sure. Totally.
Oh, yeah. Someone pointed out, was it Comrade Lenin's dank meme stash before? I can't remember who it was. Shit, someone directed me to this a while back.
That does not sound like.
It may have been Scrump. Thinking about it, I think it may have been Scrump who was like, "So this exists."
Yeah, but seriously, Comrade Lenin's dank meme stash. It does sound like a troll group.
It doesn't sound like the groups would actually know how to operate a Soviet C-34.
If it is a Soviet-connected group, they would not use dank meme stash in relation to one of their most revered figures.
I don't know.
I mean,
these people only have a very basic. To be able to perpetuate socialism and communism, you have to only have a very basic knowledge of what communism and socialism is. Mainly purported to you by a sociology lecturer in the most rose-tinted way possible.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Lenin wasn't known for his sense of humor, to put it lightly. First of all, he was Russian.
But he also wasn't fighting a meme war.
That'll kill yours. Yeah, but he was Russian. That kills your sense of humor immediately.
I thought that he didn't
fight
Germans.
meme war, but
Second of all, he was a bitter man who blamed everyone else for his failure in life, basically.
So he was
he was a charismatic dude.
So he was a social justice warrior. Holy shit!
Yeah, I think I followed
wonder they
like that on Twitter.
I'm just saying that Comrade Lenin's dank memes stash sounds like a troll group, but I'm not going to say that it's not communist, but it just sounds a little bit sort of.
You're talking about people who do unironically view Noria as the ideal model of society.
Yes, but again, it's
Venezuela.
the use of the phrase. It's the use of dank meme in the name in general. Just doesn't sound.
If you were trying to hide in plain sight, would you not use enemies' phrases?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
As much as the left can't meme, they do as sure as hell try.
Bless them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is actually Comrade Lenin's dank meme stash. Sounds like a place where we're making fun of communists here. So the fact that they're trying to raise money for a tank sounds like a troll. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying that Antifa wouldn't fucking want to buy a tank, which is ironic since they're an anarchist group and a tank is sort of the epitome of an organization. So yeah.
You want to check the chat? This is someone has just pretty much decreed it's not a troll group. It's not a troll group.
No, they're literally trying to do this.
Yeah. I mean,
the thing is, the tank they're trying to buy is crappy and doesn't run very properly. It's an old Soviet tank that apparently has to have its oil pan changed more than it needs to have gas.
Well,
is that a T50 or something?
They probably just want to push it, since they say
it's a T-34. It's a Second World War tank. What the fuck?
They probably put it on a float. They probably think that'll work. 34-ton tank on a fucking float.
I wouldn't be surprised if they still something's gonna happen to them. I kind of want to let them do this because there's no way this is going to work and not be it's going to be hilarious whatever happens. It'll probably take out an Antifa member or two with just sheer stupidity.
Are they going to paint it rainbow coloured?
They say they're going to colour it in standard Soviet colours. So, but
no. They need to keep it black because it will blend in with the rest of them, so they can hide it in their black block. You know, because a tank doesn't fucking stand out.
Hi, Bringer. I think you should definitely show us some. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Just
tweet it at Artivous Ira so we can see it.
But as far as unironic, tankies.
Why do I have to be a junk Twitter account?
But as far as
I'm not doing it.
You're just gonna tweet disturbing porn at me if anybody's actually listening.
Oh, absolutely. But no, as far as
was that a request, dude?
No, it was not. No, it was not.
The thing is, if you want to see unironic tankies these days, you don't have to go to Facebook. Reddit's become these days. Holy shit, I'm glad I stopped using that.
Dude, Reddit is a fucking cesspool.
Reddit was always cancer.
Yeah, but I was in the circles that were opposing the cancer. I was in anti-SR mod mails and things. Before someone got bored and kicked me out because I hadn't posted in fucking forever because I found Twitter back in 2014, around about the time certain things were going down with Reddit.
Yep.
You know,
Around about the time a lot of people found Twitter, to be honest.
I think I found their tank. Not that one. This one. Just to tie everything all up.
Yeah.
North Korean.
Just need to put a Google logo on the side of it.
If you look at the weaponry, like, look at that tank. That tank looks like it's fucking 60 years old.
But does it
like,
make
these
my
are the
ass
people
look
that
fat?
are threatening people. You're using fucking Cold War weaponry in 2017 and thinking you're going to stand any kind of a chance.
Yeah. Well, intercontinental missiles was invented during the 60s, so it's not that far off. It's still. I don't think they would. I think it's a lot of hot air. I don't think that they would actually do anything, but you shouldn't discount the possibility that they could. So.
They could.
Yeah. But it is fear-mongering. But I agree with you. It's fucking fear-mongering what they're doing. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have no doubt that they have a missile that is capable of reaching U.S. soil. Will it reach U.S. soil? No.
I'm gonna predict that one of their rockets in the future will hit the sea. I'm not saying which one.
I predict that they will have a catastrophic failure and blow themselves the fuck up.
Probably, yeah.
You think North Korea's gone suicide pact?
What'll happen is
It'll
get out there.
It will be on the back of a truck and it will fall off and explode. Kill everybody.
So what's going to happen is they'll be out on the march. They'll be just starting, and it's going to break down, and they're going to fix it with socialism. So they're all going to stand around and tell everyone else to do the work. And none of them will know how anyway.
And then it'll be communism when someone forces someone else to do it.
Yep. That's how it happens.
Anyway, I think we're hitting the end of our sort of...
That is the time.
Unless people want to continue on.
That has been the show. So,
we could talk shit after the show, and probably will.
Or Jan, do you want to do the sign-up, or shall I?
No, do it you. I mean,
okay.
I'm just here for the fun of it.
That is it for the Unsolicited Opinions. I am your host, Deefry. That sounds fucking weird. With me as always is my co-host, Artivous Ira, Meerkat Mon, JH Lillevik, and of course our overlord in partner in crime, Dr. Evil, and our guests, Shrek, Zero, and Angela Knight, and me, Deefry. And we will see you next week. We might be on Discord, we might be back on our usual Google Hangouts. Either way, we'll have the whole week's relevant topics that we'll be chatting, getting rather drunk, and talking about chicken vaginas all over again.
if we're not banned. Yeah,
it's
fucking pictures.
Good night, everybody.